Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Gadgets and Gizmos in 2016. My name is Gaurav Preti and here we go. Sahil the Chewbacca made sure that he watched the first show of Star Wars and was ready with those spoiler alerts. So Rohit and I had to break his leg. Here is Sahil with the review of HP's special edition Star Wars notebook sitting on a couch because he can't walk.
If you don't stay in a galaxy far away from here, then you might have noticed that there was a movie that released last week. Of course, I am talking about Star Wars, The Force Awakens. And in the last week, I've seen it 7 times over. Yeah, I'm a bit of a fanboy out here. And I've been literally spoiling the movie for everyone on my Twitter and in office. In office, my colleagues Gaurav and Rohit basically resorted to baseball bats and they smashed my knee. On Twitter, well, you can't do anything. But in the case you don't follow me, then the basic spoiler out here is that dies. Yes, clearly I've been tainted by the dark side of the Force. And if you're like me, and in this new year you want to buy a new laptop, then the MacBook Pro would seem like a light-sider Jedi. If you want something dark and beastly, then you have to go for HP's new Star Wars Edition notebook, which indeed is seemingly tainted by the dark side of the Force, much like Kylo Ren in the movie. So here we are, doing what we do best, checking it out and reviewing it for you. To be honest, this laptop is not the most handsome thing that you can buy, but its allure can't be denied for a Star Wars fan because hello, it's a Star Wars themed laptop and hello, it's got Darth Vader's face right on the back plate. And that's something most Star Wars geeks dig, even though Anakin Skywalker may object to that. Also, the keyboard is LED backlit and the color of the backlight is the same one as Darth Vader's lightsaber. Of course, I mean red. Those red lightsabers are really cool. And if you type a lot, this keyboard is really comfortable and you get a full keyboard, so you get a separate number pad, which is really good for getting things done. Also, it's packed with the latest technology. By that I mean you get Intel's latest 6th generation Skylake i5 processor, you get 8 GB of RAM, and if you want to play the latest Star Wars games, it even gets a discrete NVIDIA GPU, which is really good. Also, there's a 15.6-inch Full HD screen, which should be good enough for most people. So, yes, it's imposing and beastly, and it's packed to the hilt, just like a dark side wielding Sith Lord. In the movies, Jedi Master Yoda keeps saying that hate leads to suffering and suffering is a path to the dark side of the Force. And as you can see, I've been kind of tainted by the dark side of the Force because I hate this trackpad. It has caused me a lot of suffering because I've been unable to get a lot of work done. Moreover, the performance of this machine is subpar. It's not as good as what it should be. It's not optimized, which is obviously not good. And well, this screen, it's yellow. It's not white. So basically the thing is, this laptop is geared towards a Star Wars addict, someone who is trying to collect Star Wars memorabilia. For everyone else, well, you might as well be a light-hearted, light-sided Jedi, buy a MacBook Pro or perhaps a similarly spec'd Windows machine, because this clearly isn't worth 70k despite all the Star Wars theatrics. And by the way, and he kills him.
Infocus is out with their new budget offering. It's called the Infocus M680. And here is myself, the humble Gaurav Preti, with the review. This is the new Infocus M680. It's a budget smartphone that costs around 10,999 rupees and offers you a big screen, good specs and a design which is not good. Now you might say that Gaurav, you're being overcritical and it's not a bad looking phone. I would say I never called it ugly, But when your expectations are high, you tend to become critical. And I really like the Infocus M808. I think it was a good looking phone. It had some character. But when I look at this and specifically the design, it looks like a phone that's made in a hurry. Infocus M680 looks like a budget smartphone. It's all plastic construction except the sides where they have used metal, but still you don't get that premium feel no matter what. We would call it a plastic phone. The screen is 5.5 inches and has a FHD display. It looks bright, we didn't see any pixelation and the colors look good. It's a tad oversaturated, but we like it. Watching movies should be a delight here. The phone is running on Android 5.1 Lollipop with in-life UI on top. It's a neat and simple UI with some customizations here and there, and there are some pre-installed apps as well which will not make a difference in your life, frankly speaking. This phone is powered by a 1.5 GHz MediaTek MT6753 processor, and it will handle all your regular tasks pretty easily, but this is not the phone for gamers, of course. Yeah, but if you're playing Candy Crush and Temple Run and Angry Birds, then you guys can buy pretty much every phone. It's pretty awesome that way. And if I compare its performance, overall performance, it can actually match up to that of the Xiaomi Mi 4i, which is very good. So, performance-wise, it's not a bad deal. Coming to the camera, you get a 13MP rear camera and a 13 megapixel front camera as well. That is wonderful, but we wish we could say the same about the image quality as well. Under good light conditions, the pictures look oversaturated and details are missing. Bright display makes them look good, but look closer and you will know what we are talking about. The front camera, like all selfie camera these days, gives you a presentable, soft and waxy image. Phone is powered by a 2600 mAh battery, which doesn't sound much these days, but this phone does a good job with it. With all the gaming and web browsing and calling, the phone will easily last you the day, maybe a little more. The Infocus M680 is priced at around 10,999 rupees, which is a very good price, and at this price range you have plenty of phones out there in the market. You have the Meizu M2 Note, Lenovo K3 Note, and also the Eureka Plus. This phone is a good performer, and if you can look past the design, then we'll say you can go ahead and buy it. After the Infocus M680, let us now shift our focus to Microsoft Lumia 950 XL. Their much awaited Windows 10 mobile has been launched, and here is Sahil Jaba with the exclusive review.
Remember Windows Phone? It seems like ages that we haven't heard that term, because Android had seemingly vanquished Windows Phone, just like the Sith destroyed the Jedi in Star Wars. It seems like Microsoft is ready for a second coming in mobile, because last year it launched Windows 10, which is its operating system that's going to span across the PC, the tablet, the phone and whatnot. Out here we have the new Lumia 950 XL, which is the world's first smartphone based on Windows 10. It's also Microsoft's first flagship phone in a long time. So obviously it wants to compete with the likes of the iPhone 6s and also Samsung's Galaxy S6. But there's more. Microsoft claims this is going to be the phone that's going to rid you of your PC, because it says that it can even double as your PC. So can Windows Phone return like the Jedi in Star Wars? Let's find out. What's cool out here? Well, a lot of cool new stuff Microsoft has added in this phone. For starters, this 5.7-inch canvas. It's an AMOLED screen similar to the one that you would find on Samsung's phones, and it's got a 2K resolution, which means it is insanely sharp. Also, it's relatively bright, and I basically wish that I could watch the Star Wars Force Awakens on this because it would look just drop dead gorgeous. Secondly, there's an iris scanner out here. Yes, no fingerprint scanner, but a cool new iris scanner which works pretty well, and it's a cool technology to have. It sort of reminds me of Star Trek, to be honest. Thirdly, you have this feature called Continuum that Microsoft says helps transform the phone into a full-fledged PC. All you need to do is connect it with a dock connector to a screen, and automatically the Windows Phone 10 experience transforms into something that's similar to on a PC or a tablet, and it's almost like magic. Lastly, this is something Microsoft is really known for, the rear camera. The 20 megapixel camera out here has optical image stabilization, but all of that is something arbitrary. What you need to know is that if you care about the image quality, then this is the best smartphone camera in 2015. Despite all the cool new stuff in the Lumia 950 XL, the one word that I would use to define the entire experience is bungled. Why? Because this entire product feels like a trial run. It feels like a beta product. Windows 10 on mobile feels sluggish and buggy, to say the least. So it feels like Microsoft is running a trial run out here for something better that it would release later in the year, which is completely unacceptable for a product that costs around about rupees 50,000. Secondly, the iris scanner is inconsistent. I would rather have a consistent fingerprint sensor which would do the job with great alacrity. Also, this phone gets really warm. Microsoft said this was the first phone to have liquid cooling technology, and while we agree it really needs it, it's still not working because it becomes really toasty. In terms of build quality, this phone is built out of solid plastic, but that's not what you expect of a flagship phone these days. You like sexy glass and metal combinations that Apple and Samsung provide, not plastic. This feels like Samsung from circa 2013 rather than Microsoft 2015. This phone certainly feels like a step backwards for the Lumia line. Lumias were always known for their design, and this one doesn't do the name proud. Finally, the battery life is just about average, so yes, it's not going to replace your PC because it won't last that long. So to wrap it, for 50,000 rupees, I would really recommend an Android phone like a Galaxy S6 or an iPhone 6s Plus for that matter, because they are going to be more consistent, they'll be nicer to look at, and overall will be more premium experiences. With that, I must admit, this is not the return of Windows Phone like the return of the Jedi. It's more like Windows Phone is still stuck in hibernation, just like Jedi Master Yoda and Obi-Wan. So, we are waiting for the new hope.
Well, all of us had planned to do some really cool stuff in 2016, but unfortunately none of us remember what we had discussed because all of us were in high spirit. But we know for sure what we are looking forward to in 2016.
As 2015 draws to a close, it is natural to look towards the next year. In the consumer technology space, things change at a rapid pace, and in 2015, there were a few indicators that will dictate terms in 2016. Virtual reality headsets will become mainstream. Already we have devices from Facebook-owned Oculus Rift entering the market, and by the end of 2016 there should be ample content for these devices, which should enable the proliferation of the technology. 2016 could mark a second coming of sorts for the high-end laptops as Windows 10 was launched in mid-2015. People who are looking to upgrade will get some of the best solutions only in 2016 as PC manufacturers will deliver notebook and hybrid solution that harness the power of Microsoft's new operating system. Holograms will also become more prevalent in 2016. Microsoft's HoloLens technology will help spawn this revolution as it is the first mainstream tech that will be used by professionals and consumers alike.
You're still watching Gadgets and Gizmos, and my name is Gaurav Preti, and it is time to play some game in a gaming segment.
Nadia, I think I found your wicked veil. I don't know if it's Baba Yaga, but there's something out here.
Be careful. This is her land. Laura! Can you hear me? Are you there?
There's some sort of pollen drifting in here.
What did you say? I can't understand you.
Something's wrong.
Crystal Dynamics, along with publisher Square Enix, decided to reboot the game in 2013 and gave the lead character Lara Croft proper origin story. Rise of the Tomb Raider is the follow-up to 2013's reboot. The game takes place roughly a year after events of 2013's reboot. The game begins with Lara Croft in the mountains of Siberia in search of a lost city. The events of the year before sparked a fire in her. Before her father's death, he was ridiculed for studying and believing in the myths and ancient secrets of the world. After Lara's experience on the island of Yamatai in the previous game, she's now a believer too. She becomes obsessed with her father's research and in particular a special artifact that is supposed to offer immortality, and is eager to clear her father's name. But as she takes off on her adventure, she finds that someone else, an evil corporation called Trinity led by the crazy cultish leader Constantine, is after the same artifact too. And the story is a race to see who can get it first.
Who the hell are you?
I suspect you already know.
Trinity.
Rise of the Tomb Raider's foundation is the same as it was in 2013. Lara crawls, climbs, shoots and swings her way through a series of outrageous environments. From a ship frozen vertically into the side of a glacier to an abandoned gulag repurposed by Trinity. The combat still emphasizes careful aim and smart use of resources in the environment. The platforming is still near perfect, giving the player control above all else.
Whose radio is that?
You should leave this place before it's too late.
There are some rough edges to Rise of the Tomb Raider. Weakness in its writing, goofiness in its animation and so on. But these never add up to much of concern in a game so certain of its goals and confident in its execution. On top of increasing the size of the areas, Rise of Tomb Raider has also greatly expanded the crafting system from the previous game. Lara can now craft a number of different types of ammunition on the fly, while choosing from bigger upgrades to her arsenal of weapons at base camp. Overall, Rise of the Tomb Raider is a more than worthy sequel to 2013's reboot. Yes, other platforms will have the game in about a year. So if you want to wait, you can, but Rise of the Tomb Raider is one of the top action games that was released in 2015.
Laura, listen to me. Someday you're going to make such a mark on this world.
Time to see what's making news in the world of technology. It's time for Tech News.
Netflix may soon be coming to India next week. Popular on-demand streaming service Netflix may launch in India as early as next week, according to a new report. The California-based company is expected to make the formal announcement for the same at the upcoming CES 2016 trade show to be held in Las Vegas. Netflix is the world's largest video streaming company with over 69 million users as of October 2015. It offers content in partnership with major TV networks and movie studios. Oculus Touch launch delayed, but Oculus Rift still on track for Q1 2016 release. Now you may have to wait a little longer if you're hoping to get your hands on the Oculus Touch controller to go with its upcoming virtual reality headset. Facebook-owned Oculus has pushed back the release of its motion tracking VR controller into the second half of 2016, according to a post on the company's blog. And a Taiwanese technology research team has found a way to pilot drones and manipulate light using gestures from an Apple Watch, which could mean a realistic future
for the Force, not on the Star Wars movie screen, but in the palm of your hand. A team at PVD Plus has written an algorithm for the Apple Watch that allows it to understand and interpret hand gestures. By moving your hands forward or backward, one can control the pitch and tilt of his Parrot AR drone. It seems that the Force might soon be stronger in all of us than we ever thought possible. Alright, with that it's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed watching the episode, and we'll be back next week with more of Gadgets and Gizmos. And I believe I can party a little more. And I will. See you.